right. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Mikestand. Hope everybody's having a good week, and we're now in the latter part of the week, of course. Gonna wait a few minutes, give people a chance to come in. While we're doing that, I'm gonna take care of some things behind the scenes, so I will be right back. I will put on some music for you guys, something for you to all listen to as we're waiting. And when I come back, then. That'll be well, I'm back now. So we're just gonna wait a few minutes to give people a chance to get in here. So waiting, of course. I'll just sugar, honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. Sugar, honey, honey, you are my girl, and you got me wanting you. Honey, honey, you are my girl, and you got me wanting you. Come on. Honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. That makes me. Oh, great. I just hate it when that happens. All right. Oh boy. All right, well, look at the signal's back. Okay. So we're not going to have any problems with the signal. Anyways, let's see. Josie and the Pussycat, small tails and ears for hats. Go, go. Show the good guys win. Josie and the Pussycats. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? Got some work to do now. Come on, Scooby-Doo, I see you, pretending you got a sliver. You're not fooling me, 'cause I can see the way you shake and shiver. You know you got a mystery to solve. Scooby-Doo, ready for your wreck. Don't hold back. And Scooby-Doo, you're gonna have yourself a Scooby snack. That's a fact. Scooby-Doo, where are you? We're ready and we're willing. We can count on you, Scooby-Doo. Catch that feeling. Gummy bears bouncing in their fair. Find adventure that's beyond compare. They are the gummy bears. They are the gummy bears. And it feels like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Red card lasers aeroplane. It's a duck blur. Might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales. Ooh, you've been waiting, I've been waiting. DuckTales. Ooh, you've been waiting, I've been waiting. DuckTales. There's a stranger out to find you. Would you grab onto some DuckTales? Ooh, you've been waiting, I've been waiting. DuckTales. Ooh, you've been waiting. All right, so we're up to the 8 minute mark now, so I guess I'll go ahead and start on that. So we got eight articles tonight, plus of course the wrestling roundup, and this day in each history. As such, so on tonight's episode, we're going to be talking. So it has been confirmed that that for season three, Mob, the English voice of Mob, will be replaced as the previous as his previous voice actor had allegedly um, left because apparently Crunchyroll is refusing to even discuss utilizing SAG-AFTRA contract. Um, Also, let's see, got a number of other anime stories, some profile pieces, going to talk a little, let's see, we're going to talk a little bit about Mew Mew, Colonel Boy, um, let's see, um, some interesting profile pieces there, as well as, yeah, okay, I need to go read off. I'm just going to open another window here. Go to my YouTube channel and anyways, let me see now. Let me read it off. So I've already told you the big story is, of course, that the one in regards to the Crunchyroll story in which the voice actor is Kyle McCauley, who has basically said he usually doesn't work non-union jobs, but you know he did on the condition that they would eventually talk about the idea of using union contracts. But apparently, Crunchyroll doesn't want to do that, and therefore they're ultimately going to replace him as Mob. Also, among other, as I said, some news from on the anime front, Tokyo Mew Mew, Eternal Boys, the Portrait Studio, My Master Has No Tail, and then we also got some comic news from Penguin Random House, Dark Horse, and DC. Said the Wrestling Roundup and This Day in Each History. So with all that being said, then. Let's go ahead and get started on this day in each, or let's go ahead and get started on the articles here. Alrighty then. So here we go with the first article here. We're coming up on 12 minutes here into this. Okay then. So here we go. Now this story's gonna probably play out over the next few days here. So Crunchyroll confirms plan to recast in small quotes Mob Psycho 100 English dub lead. Former VA claims decision based on his request for SAG-AFTRA union contract. Article by Nerdigans. Article published by Nerdigans Inc. Published yesterday. In a particularly shocking development, with just a few weeks left until the October 5th simulcast premiere of the series' new season, Crunchyroll has announced that they will be replacing English voice actor Kyle McCauley as the eponymous lead of Mob Psycho 100. The news was first broken by McCauley himself, who on September 20th, which was this past Tuesday, I believe, a couple days ago here, uploaded to his YouTube channel titled "A Message to the Fans of Mob Psycho 100." All right, that's a little screwy with how that sentence came off, but anyways, informed fans that he had been let go from his role as Shigeo Mob Kageyama due to Crunchyroll's alleged refusal, quote, to produce a show on a SAG-AFTRA, which is Screen Actors Guild American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, contract. Okay, so that's what the AFTRA part of it was, unquote. Quote, I just want to put this little note in here to be very, very clear. It's not about money, unquote. He added in clarification. Quote, Crunchyroll was prepared to pay me at least what I would be getting on a union scale contract, possibly more. They just don't want to put it on a union contract. So McCarley noted that his stipulation would normally be the quote end of the conversation for me, unquote, and that quote Crunchyroll has historically been very, very hesitant to take anything they produce onto a SAG-AFTRA contract. Um, the voice actor explained that he did not immediately walk away from the role because he believed his position as the lead of the highly popular anime series presented him with quote, an opportunity to change that. Unquote. So what he was hoping to do is that the series became popular enough to where he became synonymous with the voice, then he might be in a better negotiating position to get them to sign it onto a union contract. You know, um, but usually the gamble with that, of course, is anytime you make that gambit, the chances are is that usually the studio or or distributor here, in this case Crunchyroll, can just take the attitude, well, voice actors are a dime a dozen. Okay, so if he doesn't want to work under our conditions, fine, we'll find somebody who will, because somebody will actually want to. Somebody will want to make money and won't want to whine about whether or not it's on a union contract. So that's basically the idea. That's the issue with sometimes taking such a gambit. Is that if you hope that you can get them to at least talk to you about the idea of maybe putting things on union contracts, but because of course the unions, as they claim anyways, protect those who are in the union. They it's not just a matter of the money aspect of it, but they protect you in cases of like you know worker situations like safety, safety, health, all that. So let's see. However, it seems this change was not meant to be, as though McCarley recalled that he, quote, went back to Crunchyroll with the offer that I would agree to work on this season of the show non-union on the condition that they agreed to sit down and meet with SAG-AFTRA representatives for the purposes of negotiating a potential contract for them to use on future productions, unquote. The company ultimately rejected his offer. Carly would further expound on the topic on Twitter, taking to his personal account that same morning to speak to his behalf. Well, I think I should say on the importance, not in the in the importance of unions. I think that should be on, not in. Quote, unions protect the workers they represent chiefly by giving them collective bargaining power, meaning that instead of negotiating the terms of your employment individually, one on one, the union negotiates baseline minimums for everyone all at once, unquote, opened the actor. All right. Quote, this generally leads to better terms for all workers because as a collective you have sway in these negotiations, unquote. He continued, quote, how much you get paid, how long your hours are, how hard those hours are, how often you get breaks or time off, what safety precautions are taken, etc. Mm-hmm. Quote, just one example of how SAG-AFTRA helps voiceover performers specifically is by negotiating terms that protect us from vocally stressful work, said McCarley. Quote, we often have to do a lot of screaming, shouting on the job, but our contracts ensure it's never for too long a time, unquote. Quote, our union's also gone to great lengths to educate both us and our employers on the dangers of vocally stressful work, unquote, he praised. Quote, and there are plenty of other benefits. But the big ones I want to point out are the health insurance and retirement fund, unquote. The voice actor then pointed out that since, quote, America doesn't have universal health insurance, unquote, actors themselves must, quote unquote, pay for coverage. Quote, which can be expensive, and it often doesn't cover everything, unquote, said McCarley. Quote, some workers can get it from their employers, which often means better, more affordable coverage, but that's not possible for performers, unquote. We're freelancers, unquote, he detailed. Quote, we work for a lot of different employers in very short bursts. So it wouldn't make any financial sense for any of them to give us health and retirement benefits on their own. That's where SAG-AFTRA comes in, unquote. Quote, by collecting a small percentage on top of our fee for every job we work on, SAG-AFTRA funds a phenomenal health plan that's very affordable for qualifying members, as well as a retirement plan, unquote. He told his followers, quote, these are huge reasons for actors to work union, unquote. Quote, I could probably go on for days about this, unquote. McCarley concluded his thread, quote, but those are the big bullet points I wanted to cover for those unfamiliar, uncertain about benefits of unionization that wouldn't fit in this video, unquote. Quote, speaking on the situation to Kotaku later that same day, McCarley further claimed that he was not even approached by Crunchyroll with an offer to reprise his role in Mob Psycho 100's third season until September 8th. Quote, I thought it was odd they'd wait so long to ask me about that, given the season was announced in January. I think it was, unquote, the voice actor told Kotaku's Isaiah Colbert. Quote, and the Funimation side of the company, pre-merger, had already replaced me in the Scarlet Nexus anime last year when I refused to work on that project non-union. Okay. Now McCarley is based out of L.A. here. He's one of the L.A.-based voice actors, so he's again not necessarily in the loop at Funimation. Hey Jason, what's your favorite hormone? Explain what SAG is. Okay, SAG-AFTRA is basically SAG-AFTRA is basically it's the union for it's basically the union for actors. So basically SAG-AFTRA stands for Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of for Television Radio Artists. So basically, if you work on television or radio, whether you're just simply doing voices for productions, or if you're full on like live action actor, SAG-AFTRA is the union you could belong to. You join. It's a union. It's basically an actors union. You reached out. You checked out Chris. No, I haven't. I don't even know who Chris Mayak is. I have 4 people in here now. And guys, if you can, if you can like and share the stream and see if we can get some more nice friendly people in here, I'd be appreciated as well. Anyways, right now we're going over the article from Batting in the Comics on Kyle McCarley's departure from the role of Mob Psycho, the English role of Mob Psycho. Okay, so anyways, in the wake of his Scarlet Nexus firing, McCarley said that, quote, a good portion of the brackets Mob Psycho 100 cast and I had a Zoom call that night to talk about it, which was when the idea of offering to do this job non-union in exchange for a meeting with SAG-AFTRA representatives was pitched, unquote. After spending some time fleshing out his proposal, the voice actor sent it over to SAG-AFTRA voiceover department head Treslin Williams for a preliminary lookover, who in turn assured him that such agreement was not out of the realm of possibility. However, after the Mob Psycho 100 cast heard nothing by, quote, the first day in their original availability window to start record, I guess it start to record, unquote, Kotaku reports that McCarley emailed, quote, Rahul Purini, president of Crunchyroll, and CC'd the company's chief content officer, chief people officer, chief operating officer, as well as the head of production, unquote, to request a meeting on the subject. Unfortunately for McCarley, on the morning of the 20th, which was again 2 days ago, Tuesday, Crunchyroll head of production, Justin Cook, reportedly replied by informing him that Crunchyroll would not be agreeing to any of the proposed terms. Wow. Oh, Justin's still in that kind of position, huh? They didn't replace him. Wow. He was, for those of you who don't know, Justin Cook is one of the part of the production staff at formerly Funimation, I guess now Crunchyroll. He's pretty well known within the voice acting community too, as he voiced Yusuke Urameshi in Yu Yu Hakusho. He also voiced Raditz in the Dragon Ball series, and I think Fletcher Tingham in Full Metal Alchemist. I also just found out that he was Captain Kidd, I believe, in One Piece. So that's who Justin Cook is. But Justin Cook is primarily more on the production side of things. He's one of the producers, so one of the higher ups, as it were. Even though he has done some VA work. He has done some VA work for in the past. Anyways, quote, I can speculate about why they've taken this stance, but it would be speculation, unquote. McCarley concluded his interview with Kotaku, quote, I don't know why they are so firmly anti-union that they won't even agree to having a conversation about it. I felt like it was a pretty reasonable request, but you'd have to ask them why they appear to disagree, unquote. Now again, though, the issue here, the thing, sometimes playing hardball like that can come back and bite you in the butt. Now McCarley never said it wasn't about money for him. It was about getting them to utilize union contracts. Not work. I mean, yeah, he can continue to refuse to work non-union, and that's fine. But but he's going to ultimately suffer for it, obviously. I mean, there might come a point in time when now the thing is too. Here's another thing too you have to consider. Crunchyroll is essentially becoming somewhat of a monopoly within the English anime dubbing voice industry too. Of course, they absorbed Funimation into their ranks, and then of course they do use a lot of actors and actresses out of Bang Zoom as well. LA, Kyle is one of those actors, voice actors. That's why on series like Attack on Titan and Mob Psycho, it may be that Crunchyroll is doing the production, the the voice directing, all that, but you can still use that from LA and stuff via remote. You know. So, anyways, when reached for comment the situation by the video game centric news outlet. Okay. When reached for comment, again, another typo right there. When reached for comment on the situation by the video game centric news outlet, a representative from Crunchyroll confirmed, quote, "We'll be producing the English dub of Mob Psycho at our Dallas production studios, aka formerly Funimation Studios. And to accomplish this seamlessly per our production and casting guidelines, we will need to recast some roles." So my guess is what it sounds like they're doing here is they're hiding behind the fact, well, since our offices are actually in Dallas, we're probably just going to go ahead and just dump all of our LA based voice actors and just replace them with with Funimation people. That I think is where they're going with that. So we're excited for fans to enjoy the new voice talent and greatly thank any departing cast for their contributions to previous seasons, included. Unsurprisingly, the sudden recasting announcement was met with massive pushback from within the industry, particularly McCarley's fellow voice actor. Let's see what's going on here. So this is really brave, and this is a really brave and difficult stance for an actor to take that opens us up to lose jobs, but so important for fair treatment and protection and better future conditions," said Sarah Craven, who voices Child Emperor in One Punch Man. I applaud at Kyle McCarley and encourage everyone to get loud. So at Crunchyroll and all companies value the work we do. Unquote. Yeah, this is gonna get this is gonna get nasty. This is not something. And you know something? My dad once said that unions are somewhat of a necessary evil. You know, yes, they do. They do protect workers from unfair working conditions, all that. But at the same time, they could become just as corrupt as the corporations they rile against as well. So this is one big gambit that Kyle is really going with here. You know, um, and it almost sounds like it almost looks like it depending on how long this situation goes now. There could be some major friction going on between the Dallas voice actors and the LA voice, because I think for the most part, most if not all the LA based voice actors are part of SAG-AFTRA. Whereas I think that's the whole thing here with Kyle too, is that he may be part of SAG-AFTRA. Okay. While I think the ones who are at like Funimation and Sony are not. So I don't know how much of that is. I don't know how much of that is accurate. That's just my speculation, mind you. There. Yeah. So. But yeah, this could cause a bit of a rift between the LA based and Dallas based voice actors here, because over this, because Crunchyroll is based more in, Crunchyroll, they absorbed Funimation, so and they were using some of the LA based voice actors. I mean, I know like Christopher Corey Smith went out and did work in Texas, and now with the whole idea of remotes, they've been doing more and more of that too. But and it's gonna probably be very well. I don't know which projects are like obviously. I guess most of the stuff that goes on to Crunchyroll is not union. So, anyways, I'm gonna go off camera here for a quick moment and make some lighting adjustments. I'll be right back. But what I will do is I'll put on some music while I do that. All right, I'm back. So, and as always, guys, if anything in here catches your interest, or you want to make comments on, or ask about anything we talk about in these articles, feel free to do so. If you got a question, I'll try to answer as best I can. Anyways, and if you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream and see if we get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated as well. With that, let's continue on with the article here. Okay, so I'm going to Sarah Craven. So let's see what else we have here. My Dress Up Darling VA, Risa May, who voices Sejuna Inui in that series, proclaimed, quote, I'm here to take solidarity in this and to stand with Tom McCarley. Quote, unquote, then quote, fellow actors, please do not take any recast auditions for Mob Psycho 100 to yours. So we'll need to stand in this together. Again, this is a huge, for the LA-based voice actors who are part of SAG-AFTRA here, this is a bit of a gambit. This is a bit of a gambit. Because I think, when I read earlier in the article there, is basically what Crunchyroll is trying to do. Since their thought is probably, well, since the LA-based voice actors are kind of getting uppity and trying to push the union onto us, we'll just use the Dallas-based voice actors who aren't using it more, and the LA-based voice actors go bigger. So it's kind of funny because it did seem over the last few years here that, as I've mentioned in the past, there was at one point here in North America, there seemed to be 6 major dubbing companies. 2 in Dallas, there was 1 here in LA, 1 in New York, and a couple up in Canada. Okay. Albeit what I came to find out later was one of those was actually subsidiary of the other in Canada. So you had up in Canada, you had Ocean Studios, which handled stuff like Yasha, Project Farm, those are probably 2 of the Escofone. And then you had Blue Water, which was a subsidiary of Ocean, which supports Blue Water was based in Calgary, Ocean was based in Vancouver. and of course some of the stuff that other stuff that Blue Water was handled, of course, included like Mahime, um, Dice. Let's see what are some of the other ones. Buddy, let's see, Buddy Card Fight, Pretty Cure, one, and then of course you had the two in Texas that we talked about, Dallas, formerly Funimation, but that's where again Crunchyroll absorbed Funimation into that. We know about Funimation, and then the other one out in Texas, um, right now Sentai Filmworks, Seraphim Digital Sound, the studio, and out here in LA, of course, Bang Zoom. You have Bang Zoom as the main distributor. Viz Media distributes some of it as well from up in their San Francisco offices. They've done work over the years both with Canada and LA. And then you have the in terms of the recording studios, and you have Bang Zoom has its own recording studio for some of the stuff it works on, but also some series were also kind of cast out to Studiopolis, where like series like Bleach and Naruto were dubbed. So and in New York, you had NYAV Post. Um, Basically, this is a bit of a gambit as the Western anime scene has been consolidating the last few years. Sony through Crunchyroll and Funimation has become a near monopoly here. I think the only other company, Bang Zoom is kind of working with them a little bit, even though they also do their own stuff. But this rift could cause, Bang Zoom to do more of their stuff, independently. And as for, there's also, of course, as I said, Sentai still around, albeit they don't have as much influence, but they could, and then of course, as everybody knows, Vic, along with Enemy Matsuri, is now getting into the dub game, opening up their own studios. So we'll have to see how all this plays out, though, over time. All right, so now here's a name I know of, and I'll explain. Quote, to fans of this show and these actors, your voice has a lot of clout, unquote, declared Bob Bergen, who is Blade in Tekken Blade, Porky Pig in the Looney Tunes franchise. Of course, Porky Pig after the late Mel Blanc. I mean, Bob Bergen, probably the more recent Porky Pig. Quote, let at Crunchyroll know how you feel. To voice actors everywhere, this is not how you want to break into the biz. Stay away from this recast. Respect from your fellow performers is priceless. And Karma is well, I'll put it another female dog. In other words, what Bob there at the end there is implying, well, if you do take this job, don't expect any of us to back you up. I think that's basically what he's saying there. And that's again where some of the more corruptible aspects of being in a union come from, right there. Chris Hackney, who is the English voice of Kamisada Hayato in Genshin Impact. And I know he's done some other work as well. I think he was also the voice of Hidan in Naruto Shippuden. Lamented, quote, the only thing I'll say on this is to those who are frustrated by the situation, unquote, though made sure to explicitly request that upset fans. Quote, do not direct your ire towards any actor or director involved in this. So I'm guessing then what Chris Hackney is suggesting is for the fans, don't take it out on the actors or directors. Well, all right. So quote: Do not pit worker actor against worker actor. Unquote. He would reiterate in follow up. Quote: As they are all just trying to do what they love. Unquote. In addition to McCarley, it appears that Mob Psycho 180R director Chris Kaysen has also been let go. Um, though it is presently unknown whether his exit was a result of the same SAG-AFTRA dispute. Quote, it was my pleasure to have served as the ADR director for both seasons 1 and season 2, for both season 1 and season 2 of this fantastic show, unquote. He tweeted on September 20th, quote, though I will no longer be involved in that capacity, it remains one of my favorite titles. All right, and just to give you guys a little background on Chris Kaysen was um, originally a voice actor with Funimation long before any of the stuff with Vic happened. Okay, so he's not he and I've met him. He's actually a pretty good guy. I don't even think he would have been. I don't think I've ever seen him say anything bad or get involved in all that mess with Vic. You know, to my knowledge, Chris Cage is a cool guy. You know, if you have a chance to meet him, I think you guys will like him. You know, he was one of a handful of actors who actually, among those including Kyle Hebert, Caitlin Glass, I think was another one, Vic, obviously, who moved out to LA to pursue more work opportunities, you know, and do more work out here in LA. So he does have a tangent connection, as I said, to Funimation, to Crunchyroll, formerly as with Funimation, as he was, of course, from his days at Funimation, he did more like supporting characters, like let me see, he was like Papa Goo in One Piece. Let me see. I think he was also Gluttony in Full Metal Alchemist. Let me see. Trying to remember which. I think he was. He was. I think he was actually Miyamoto in Yu Yu Hakusho. So those are just some of his Funimation roles he did. Yeah. All right. Editor's note. A previous version incorrectly identified McCarley's Crunchyroll contact as Julian Lai Hong, based on a reverse search of the company staff, according to the voice actor's original statement. McCarley has since clarified that though he may have gotten his title wrong, his actual Crunchyroll contact was Justin Cook. And as I already mentioned, Justin Cook is part of the production staff. He was, of course, one of the top production guys with Funimation before they got absorbed into Crunchyroll. So it looks like he's maintained that same role. Further, this version also incorrectly identified Tristan Williams as the head of Crunchyroll's voiceover department. Williams is actually the head of SAG-AFTRA's voiceover department. Both of these misidentifications have since been corrected. Yes, as we did see there. So, yeah, this story is going to be one to watch for the next week or so, just to see how all this pans out. Because because Kyle McCarley here is playing a very high risk gambit here. Doing a very high risk gambit here, in doing this, and anyways, and thank you whoever dropped in for and dropped that like. Anyways, though, as I said, though, this is a very high stakes gambit right here that Kyle is playing, and he's got a lot of the other, it's primarily, as I said, the LA based voice actors, because I think this could cause a potential rift between the LA and Dallas voice crews. It might be interesting to see if like Nick Rekieta or Yellow Flash or any of those guys decide to pick the story up. I know Hiro Hayes actually did one of his short videos on this situation, kind of commenting on it. But this is gonna be a story that looks like might play out for at least a week or so. So we'll be keeping an eye on it, definitely. But anyways, let's move on to some more coverage. So now we'll be heading over to of course, now we'll be heading over to CDR to look at more news stories. We got a few more. We got, I think, 4 more anime stories we'll go through here. All right, so here we go with this story here coming. Oh, okay, so. Alrighty then, so here we go with this story. Let me just go ahead and increase the font here a bit. Okay. All right, so here's the next story we're going to look at here. Tokyo Mew Mew new season 2 lands 2023 release date. Ichigo Momomiya and her friends will return for new adventures in season 2 Tokyo Mew Mew New, which will start airing episodes in April 2023. Article by Renee Senza Timor. Published one day ago. Of course, when I started it was still inside of a day. But anyways, give me one moment here where I'm going to go off camera here for a quick second. Be right back. All right. So, anyways, let's get back into this. Let's get into this article here. Season two of Tokyo Mew Mew Mew, the reboot of the 2000 Shoujo classic, will have its broadcast debut in April 2023. So, Tokyo Mew Mew came out in the early 2000s, and um, I believe was even on Kid WB for a while there as Mew Mew Power. So, the news was announced on the series' official Twitter page, along with the brand new teaser between the main protagonist, Ichigo Momomiya, and her fellow Mew. Season 2's premiere coincides with the 20th anniversary of the original manga's completion, which took place on April 4th, 2003. With the release of the last volume, the new season also marks the 65th anniversary of Kodansha's Nakayoshi magazine, which serialized Pokemon. Wow, so the magazine that Pokemon was a part of, the manga magazine, 65 years. Wow, so 2023, and it goes all the way back to 1958. Oh. Several of the main cast members, including all five Mew reprised their roles in season one. Now, I think they're talking about, of course, the English, or not the English, but the Japanese voice actors here. Yuki Enma was starring once again as Ichigo. Mirai Hinata will return to play um, Minto Aizawa, and Ryoko Juni will play Lettuce Midori, Midori, Midorikawa. Midori, of course, the, is the Japanese word for green. Leanne Toda will voice Pudding Fong, and Momota Ishii will voice Sakuro Fujiwara. Other returning cast members include Yuma Ishida, who played Ichigo's love interest Masaya Ayama, and Yuichi Nakamura, who plays Ryo Shirogane, a boy scientist who gave Ichigo and the other Mimus their special powers. Tokyo Mew more than just a TV show. Um, a number of promotional events have already been planned for the new season of Tokyo Mew. A live cast reading of one of the scripts will be held at um, GG Press Hall in Tokyo on January 7th to the 8th, 2023. Five main cast members have also formed a J-pop idol group called Smoothites, Smoothies, Smoothies. Okay, um, which will be doing a live reading on November 2nd, a Christmas event on December 22nd, and a live performance in March 2023. The group has also a new album in the works, which will be released on January 18th. Tokyo Mew manga was created by Reiko Yoshida and illustrated by the late Miya Ikumi. Right, I'm gonna go off camera here one more time here. Um, I'm gonna go off camera here for another moment here. Like that. Move it on here. And that should hopefully be better. Okay. And that's the article here. Okay. Its story revolves around a young girl named Ichigo Momomiya, who is one day zapped with a strange ray that scrambles her DNA with that of the Iriomote wildcat. This incident gives Ichigo incredible agility as well as the ability to transform into the super-powered magical girl Mew Ichigo. She and four other girls who also had their DNA scrambled are chosen to take part in a top secret Mew project established to fend off a mysterious alien threat known as Deep Blue. The animation studio Pierrot released a 52 episode series adaptation that aired from 2002 to 2003. Of course, at 52, Pierrot is the same company, of course, that has done Yu Yu Hakusho, Naruto, and Bleach. Season 2 of Tokyo Mew Mew New will air on TV Tokyo and its affiliate stations. High Dive will simulcast the series as it airs in Japan. For those who'd like to catch up on the series before Season 2, Season 1 is available to stream on High Dive. The manga is available in English from Kodansha Comics. So I guess for this new series, Mew Mew New, my guess is if High Dive's the one streaming it, most likely the Houston voice actors who are doing the voice work there on the the voice production. So, oh wait. Now let's go ahead and. All right, so there we go with that one, and then now we're gonna move on to next. Yeah. Okay, then. So we're just over the hour mark here. All right, so here's our next article we're going to be looking at. Okay, everything to know ahead of Eternal Boys. Interested in an idol anime starring a group of middle-aged men? Here's all of the latest information on the upcoming idol series, Eternal Boys. The fall 2022 anime season is just around the corner, bringing in a bunch of new titles. This season will be bringing back big hits like Spy Family and My Hero Academia, as well as promising new titles Chainsaw Man and Blue Lock. Eternal Boys is neither a returning show nor is it based on a best-selling manga. It's a new, original anime being brought to life by Leiden Films. And here's why it's still worth keeping an eye on. What is Eternal Boys all about? Most idols enter the entertainment industry when they're in their teens, which is often considered to be the prime age to debut. Not the titular Eternal Boys. This idol group is made up of middle aged men, with the youngest being 35 and the oldest 45. These men all come from different walks of life: a salaryman, a high school teacher, a soccer player, child actor turned enka singer, a host, and a management head. The one thing these men have in common is that they have no experience working in the idol industry, and they've all either quit or have been relieved from their previous jobs. This sounds like a very interesting story here. Based on how the characterizations is, the idea is they're gonna. It sounds like what they're gonna do is they're gonna get into the idol industry and each bring whatever their natural skill set from their previous work experiences has developed for them to turn into a successful idol group. That seems like what it sounds like. Rather than relying on industry knowledge, these men will be relying on their many years of work experience to make it big in the world of entertainment. With their varied work histories to guide them, as I thought, it's basically what I thought. These men intend to prove that there is truth being behind the old saying, quote, age is but a number, unquote. Although it may not be their amateur levels that get in their way of stardom, but rather their aching backs. Notable staff. Eternal Boys features a mix of new blood and veterans in the industry. This will be the second anime directed by Migmi, who debuted as a series director last year with supposed kid from the Last Dungeon Boonies, moved to a starter town. The character designs are done by Ma2, and while they have penned manga in the past, this will be the first time that their designs will be used for televised anime. The music will be composed by Yukari Hashimoto, who is no stranger to composing for comedic works like Monthly Girls, Nozaki-kun, and Mr. Osomatsu. The main cast is made up of veteran voice actors that have been in the business for a while, but in contrast, much of the supporting cast is made up of newer actors. A manga adaptation began serializing in Comic Gene last April, although it is unlikely that the manga will be released in English anytime soon, as most manga based on anime originals almost never get official English releases. Where to watch Eternal Boys? Eternal Boys is set to premiere on October 11th. which, let's see, should be the following Tuesday from my so I think 3 weeks from the other day, basically. It will air on Fuji TV in Japan and Animax in other Asian territories. As of writing, no English network has announced any plans to pick the series up for streaming. There are a few more weeks left before the show finally premieres, so here's hoping that an official announcement will finally be made beforehand. There are a lot of idol anime that Eternal Boys will have to compete with or live up to, but its unique premise is sure to pull in those looking for a fresh, new take on the idol genre. Because it isn't based on an existing piece of media, no one yet knows what to expect from this series. But for anime fans looking for middle-aged men performing in sparkly outfits, then Eternal Boys should be right up their alley. Yeah, that does sounds interesting because of the novelty of it. That's what's making it interesting. It's not something that you've done before. It's the novelty of it that's going to make it interesting. It will at least get people to watch the first handful of episodes. First 2 or 3 episodes at least. Just to check out, see what this thing's all about. Oh wait, I keep forgetting that I need to. Keep forgetting we're not in love anymore. Just kidding. Let's see now. Okay, so now let's do this. Okay. All right, so here we go. Here's the third article we're going to look at. Third anime. Well, this is overall the fourth anime article. I see Jason come in with a whole bunch of questions here. I'll go ahead and take a look at those. A moment here. All right, so let's see what you're saying here. Oh wait, see what you're. Oh, wow, you really are pretty active right now. Let's see. What's your favorite bingo bango? I don't know. I don't even know what a bingo bango is. Is Christy Kane inactive? I'm not sure on that one, Jason. She's not some. Christy Kane is probably not somebody who like has used it a lot. I know the one role was as Levy in Fairy Tale. They did that a while ago. Dave Trosco, I don't think so. I've never met the guy, so I couldn't tell you. I doubt though he's evil. Opinion on Cromie Lee voices? She's a fine actress. Do you dislike subtitles? Anime? I would say I don't dislike. I'd say that I prefer dub because it's easier to follow. It's easier to just listen to somebody doing it in English than sitting there trying to stop every 2 seconds to the read the subtitles. You know, figure if I really wanted to read it, then I'd just read the manga, right? Let's see. Is Jade Saxon a singer? I'm not sure exactly. Okay, now I know what CSM is. Jade Saxon, a singer. I don't know if she is or not. I was not aware that she was. Um, but you watch it. So if I'm guessing right, CSM, what you mean is Chainsaw Man. I may at some point, don't know when, but I may some point watch it. With all that being said and done, let's get on to the next article here. Alright, so anyways, let me check something there. Since you did ask, let me just see. You know, well, apparently she hasn't anything considered according to behind the let's see, according to behind the voice actor studio, Chrissy King hasn't done anything since 2018. Look at some other sources here. Let's see, Lynn King. Voices English. Okay. Okay. There's a lot of blank spaces here, but let's see. Yeah, Levy McGarden and Shogun. Yeah. Besides being a voice actress, she's apparently a yoga instructor in the Arlington, Mansfield, Texas area. So, yeah. So, let me see one more piece of. Let me just look up one more information on that. Carry on. Here, let me see one. Okay. See, is anybody else? Just the two of us. So, and I'm just looking up some stuff on Christy King since he asked about her. She might be considered inactive, but well, she may have become inactive in the last years here because apparently her last bit of work was back in 2019. Of course, Christy King was known for doing the voice. Probably her most famous voice was as Levy the Garden in Fairy Tale. So, all right. So, anyways, well, she may be inactive or just may not being used for whatever reason. I remember Funimation has had quite an influx in the last few years of newer voice actors. Anyway, so a lot of the ones that at one point were like you don't see. Well, some of it's because some of the voice actors sided with Vic, and of course aren't being used by Funimation in that regard. Anyway, so let's get on to this next story here. The Portrait Studio, a life learned through pictures. Takashi Nakamura paints an incredible picture of three generations and their relationship with a local photographer as Tokyo changes with each photo. Article by Gregory Siegel, published a day ago. So here we go. I don't know if this is based off of manga or I guess we'll wait to see here. The Portrait Studio, in Japan, I guess called Shashinkan, the short animated film directed by Takashi Nakamura and released in 2013. Okay, well, that answers that. The story follows the life of a portrait photographer and his relationship with three generations of a family living in Tokyo throughout the 19th and 20th centuries. With each photo taken, the environment, clothing, and characters change to reflect the times they're living in. The short largely focuses on the exchanges between the owner and a young girl who struggles to smile for a photograph. With each year that passes, the artist does everything in his power to make her happy, but fails time and time again. Interesting. Without any narration or dialogue, the Portrait Studio instead relies on its expressive animation style, fantastic score composed by Jun Ichikawa, of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl fame, to convey characters' emotions along the journey they take. Despite its 16-minute length, the short does an excellent job of building its world, characters, and the viewer's connection with them. By the end of the film, viewers will likely have a tear in their eye and leave with an important message about how to live a fulfilled life. Portrait Studio's plot. The Portrait Studio opens with a recently married couple walking up the steps of the artist's workshop that rests on a hill overlooking the city. The wife of the military man sits down to have her photograph taken. However, she is so shy that she finds it difficult to look up at the camera and smile. Despite the owner's best efforts, she remains sullen and unwilling to participate. In a moment of realization, the portraitist gets up to pick a bouquet of flowers for the woman to hold. Finally, she looks up and smiles at him so he can take the picture. Years later, the same couple return to the photographer's shop, but this time they have brought a recently birthed child. While the mother quickly looks up and smiles, her little girl is far less eager to cooperate. This behavior persists throughout her childhood, and it seems there is little the owner can do to make her smile. Whether it's pulling funny faces, whirling puppets furiously, blowing whistles, or dancing, she continues to frown. Eventually, the photographer can do little but take his picture and allow the family to leave with a memento of their grumpy daughter. Oh boy. Oh boy. And I guess there's the there's him with his efforts there. Time passes and the young girl has become a woman. Regardless of her newfound maturity, she's still unable to smile for the camera. She continues to walk through life with an air of sadness. The now middle-aged photographer witnesses several catastrophes, from an earthquake that destroys much of the surrounding area to the bombardments of war that wreak havoc on his local community. The resulting chaos leads both the woman's father and teenage son to perish, leaving her in an even greater state of misery. During the modern era, the woman has been left fatherless, widowed, and without an heir. The only person who remains a constant in her life is a photographer whom she cares for in his old age. She remains as solemn in her final days as she was in her youth. However, after finding a series of pictures been taken over the years, she finally is able to reflect on all the positive things that have taken place in her life. After the portrait studio owner requests they sit down together for a photograph, she is finally able to smile. Wow. Good story there. Huh. All right then. All right. Anyways, getting back to the article here. Portrait Studios themes and a crucial message about life. Portrait Studio examines ideas surrounding time, memory, human bonds, and happiness. While they are singular moments, the pictures the photographer takes act as important reminders of the events that have taken place in the family's life, whether it's marriage, birth, personal achievements, or even death. The artist remains a stable figure. The photographs he takes are able to capture impermanent slices of time and allow the viewer to be reminded of the people, places, and even eras they once inhabited. While portrait photography typically intends to promote happy moments in a person's life, the artist instead finds himself taking pictures of a girl who is incapable of smiling. This juxtaposition reflects the difficult circumstances of Japan during this period, from the Great Kanto earthquake of 1923 to the devastation of Tokyo in the 1940s due to American bombing. A woman's sadness, which is shown even shortly after her birth, foreshadows the challenging life she'll have to lead. The camera acts as a symbol of the constant change that took place around the world. From Meiji to from the Meiji to Showa periods, the photographer not only takes pictures of people throughout the different stages of their life, but also how their clothing, customs, and environment alter alongside them. From a relatively small town built out of wood, Tokyo transforms into a towering cityscape made of metal and concrete. The serene, nature-filled landscapes that once surrounded the people of this area have now been switched to commercial props, trains, and bustling sidewalks. As characters enter their twilight years, Japan has begun to boom. The short ends with an important message on how people should live their lives. The woman appears to have lived a life of suffering in which she's struggled to find happiness. From losing her father, husband, and son, she has become embittered and unable to realize the gift she's been given. Even in childhood, she seems to have focused on the negative elements surrounding her and become lost in her rigid perception. However, in her old age, she begins to understand she's been loved and starts to be thankful for the life she's led. The portrait studio sends a warning that we as viewers should be grateful for the wonderful things surrounding us and not let even the most terrible circumstances poison the gifts that we have been given. Nakamura's beautiful animation combined with Ichikawa's classical piano score offers an extremely pleasurable watch for anyone who's looking for a touching story. Much like La Maison in Petit Cubes, the Portrait Studio manages to condense a series of powerful human emotions into a few well-built characters despite a lack of dialogue. Being removed from language enables the work to truly become a universal experience regardless of the film's setting. Other than they're saying here is because there was no dialogue or no, it's like you don't need to dub it. You can sit there and watch it, and it doesn't matter if you're Japanese or English. If, there's no, the whole thing is basically more, more about what you see. Anyways, I think we're almost done with the anime. I think we got one last anime article to go through, and then we will get to the comic articles. Yeah, okay. Here's the next article here. Last of the anime articles. We're at hour 34. So yeah, we're making good time then. All right, so let's get into this. Let's, of course, enlarge it. My master has no tail. What to know before the anime begins. My Master Has No Tail is an upcoming comedy anime about Tanaki girls, Rakugo comedy theater, and the joys of the Japanese entertainment world. Article by Louis Kenmer, published 6 hours ago. The summer 2022 anime season is now winding down, and fans of the lighthearted comedy anime no doubt enjoyed titles such as The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting and the second season of Devil is a Part-Timer. Anyone who's going to miss those charming titles can try My Master Has No Tail next, a wacky series slated to release in fall 2022 season. My Master Has No Tail is all about the time-honored Japanese art of rakugo, or Japanese stand-up theater. Basically, stand-up comedy, I guess, is what they're trying to get at. And the protagonist, Mameda, will soon learn that entertaining and tricking humans with her words isn't so easy in this day and age. However, this Tanaki girl, basically raccoon dog is what a Tanaki is, will give it her best shot. And she's going to need a master to teach her the ways of Rakugo and help Mameda unlock her potential. It's time for the big show. The plot and characters of My Master Has No Tail. My Master Has No Tail gets its unusual title from the protagonist's viewpoint, with her describing the odd nature of her human mentor in the world of Rakugo. Anime's heroine is the charming Tanaki girl Mameda, who is more used to traditional Japanese culture and folklore, meaning she is unprepared for the realities of 21st century life. Unfortunately for the playful trickster Mameda, modern people don't fall for the magical pranks and tricks of Tanakis anymore. But there is still hope. If Mameda wants to have fun with humans and cast her trickster magic on them, she can embrace the ways of Rakugo and enchant her audience in more ways than one. First, though, she's going to need a coach. Sounds like a very interesting. To reinvent her Tanaki prankster career, Mameda assumes a human form and visits the bustling city of Osaka, where she struggles until she meets a dark-haired lady named Bunko, who knows more than a little about the ways of Rakugo. Now it's up to Mameda to convince Bunko to accept her as an apprentice, learn the ways of Rakugo, and become Osaka's #1 non-human entertainer in the world of stand-up comedy and storytelling. This is a challenge like no other, and the free-spirited, creative Mameda can't wait to get started. This does sound like a charming anime, doesn't it? Where to watch and read My Master Has No Tail. The anime adaptation of My Master Has No Tail is due to start streaming on September 30th, 2022, meaning it will be one of the fall 2022 season's first anime titles. So September 30th, that's a week from this Friday. That's a week from tomorrow, basically, is when it will be start airing. Even before Spy Family's early start date. Western anime fans can tune in to My Master Has No Tail on the anime streaming giant Crunchyroll, which will offer a simulcast of the anime as it airs in Japan. It's not yet certain which language Crunchyroll will offer for the Japanese dub, but English is almost certain to be available. Interested fans can also try out the source manga, which has a limited but easily accessible release in the West. For example, Barnes & Noble online catalog offers all current volumes of My Master Has No Tail in digital ebook format. The volume 7 being the most recent release. Similarly, Amazon's online catalog offers the 7 currently available volumes in Kindle format, though no paperback release is available as of this writing. Alrighty then, so let's see. Do all that. Now we're going to get into some of the comics news here. We got 3 stories from there we'll go over. All right. This will be the first one we look at before we Alright, well, anyways, I gotta step away from the computer for a moment, so I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Before we get back to articles here, let me just go over and. All right. Anyways, let's get back to the article. Oh, we have a third. Hello, third person. And then they left again, but at least they dropped in and dropped a like. Thank you for that. Anyways, let's go ahead and get going on this article here. Um, okay, well, hold on. Let me, of course, enlarge that. All right, so exclusive Meltzer and Ellie craft new Superman Batman stories for young fans. Penguin Random House's Ordinary People Change the World series expands with new books starring Batman and Superman, and CBR has a sneak peek. Article by Noah Dominguez, published 13 hours ago. Penguin Random House's Ordinary People Change the World series by author Brad Meltzer and illustrator Chris Eliopoulos is expanding with the Stories Change the World line, which is set to kick off with two new picture books starring the DC superheroes Batman and Superman. I Am Batman and I Am Superman are both slated to release in just a few days on Tuesday, September 27th. Each carrying a cover price of $16.99 US dollars, $16.99 US dollars. Additionally, a third book titled I Am Wonder Woman is scheduled for publication in 2023. The books are published by Dial Books for young readers, an imprint of Penguin. At this time, CBR can exclusively reveal a sneak peek inside I Am Batman and I Am Superman. There's I Am Batman right there. And it is. In I Am Batman, young readers will be introduced to Bruce Wayne and his rise to becoming Batman. After losing his parents at a young age, Bruce Wayne dedicates his life to cleaning up the streets of Gotham. Even without traditional superpowers, his perseverance and commitment to justice carry him through the battle against villains. I am Superman. Look at these chibi, look at these chibi drawing, like from that's what they called in anime studies, chibi. From his beginnings on his birth planet Krypton to his childhood on Earth, I Am Superman focuses on the ways Clark Kent was super because of his actions, not just his powers. For almost 80 years, the story of Clark Kent has been told by thousands of creators, and this picture book biography is the perfect way to introduce the young readers to the legendary superhero. So, the Stories Change the World series retells beloved iconic fictional tales of heroism, providing a lively and fun first version of the myth, why it's inspirational, and serving as a fantastic stepping stone to get young readers interested in nonfiction biographies, unquote. Penguin exclaims. See if there's anybody. Yeah. Hey, RJ. The I Am, quote unquote, and Who Is, unquote, books are great for kids, although I note they skipped, quote unquote, Who is Donald Trump while doing the other presidents. Hmm. Which is probably just their way of saying they wish that he was never president. Is that what you're getting at, RJ? Uh, I guess they don't want kids to remember Donald Trump, even though he did quite a number of great things 100 years later. So, and of course, everybody on the left, everybody from mainstream media to establishment Republicans to all that, they're trying to find a way to keep him running for president again. Um, anyways, enough of that stuff. We actually come here so we don't talk as much about that stuff. Anyways, here we go. Quote: The Stories Change the World series retells beloved iconic fictional tales of heroism, providing a lively and fun first version of the myth and why it's inspirational, and serving as a fantastic stepping stone to get young readers interested in non. Okay. Okay. We already read that part. Okay, sorry. Quote, Stories Change the World is a companion to the best-selling Ordinary People Change the World series, which has more than 5 million books in print. This new picture book series is an adventurous and fun, smaller quotes, biography introduction to the fictional characters who have sparked the imaginations of generations of kids. The idea for the series was born out of New York Times bestselling author Brad Meltzer's love of history and desire to give his own children real heroes to look up to and emulate. And Christopher Eliopoulos, Eliopoulos' art is iconic and memorable. Superheroes change the world. Oh, we have 4 people in here now. Goody, yay! All right, anyways. Quote, My life was changed by Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, unquote, Meltzer said. Quote, they're part of the American mythology, and like Abraham Lincoln, Amelia Earhart, and any other hero he featured, their stories persist because they reveal something about us. This new line of books lets us feature the characters and creators, reminding kids about the true powers of imagination. Well, as a little kid, the first comic I ever bought was The Flash. than the Justice League and Batman. I've grown up loving the DC superheroes, unquote, Eliopoulos added. Quote, to finally get a chance to draw all of these heroes is something I wish I could go back in time and tell myself. I'd tell him that we get to tell the stories of the character and values of those heroes. He wouldn't believe it. I still can't believe it, unquote. Well, at least this, hey, RJ, at least this writer seems like he's not wanting to mess with the story, at least with the characters. Sounds like he's trying not to make them woke, which is kind of refreshing. Anyways, as we continue on with the quote, we've seen this unique, peppy style of biography storytelling grab the imaginations of so many young kids, provide nourishing role models for them, unquote, says Dial Brooks of Young Readers, president and publisher Lori Hornick. Quote, and so it's a joy to now be working with Brad and Chris on these fictional offshoots that also focus on values and virtues as the reasons why characters such as DC Comics superheroes are so beloved. We hope we're helping to inspire the next generation of real-life superheroes through these books, unquote. Written by Brad Meltzer and illustrated by Chris Eliopoulos, I Am Batman and I Am Superman go on sale September 27th from Penguin Random House. All right, so there we go with that one. All right, so moving on to the next article here. Enlarge this one a bit. Let's see. Oh, and the two people saying to drop away. All right, so anyways, let's get back to the article here. All right, so Eric Powell's The Goon returns to Dark Horse under Albatross Funny Books imprint. The Goon, a fan favorite series combining pulpy horror and humor, returns to Dark Horse along with other projects by Eric Powell in 2023. Article by Jeremy Blum, published 10 hours ago. Eric Powell's comic, The Goon. So, RJ, you have any thing to say about Eric Powell? You're still here? Always feel free to comment on any of the material we look at here. Let's see. Powell is bringing his creator-owned imprint, Albatross Funny Books, to Dark Horse in 2023. The move enables Dark Horse to not only begin publishing The Goon, but also Powell's other series, Big Man Plans and Hillbilly, titles from other creators such as Brendan Small's Galacticon and Steven Universe creator Rebecca Sugar's Pug Davis will also be included in the imprint. Oh, I couldn't be happier to be returning to Dark Horse and bringing Albatross over as an imprint, unquote. How Powell said of the announcement, quote, this partnership will allow me to focus more on what I want to be doing, making books. I'm very excited for what the future holds and the new opportunities to be found. Unquote. Hal's first project to be released under Albatross at Dark Horse will be a graphic novel team up with true crime writer Harold Schechter. Um, the duo worked on the 2021 graphic novel. Did you hear what Eddie Gain done? Which featured an in-depth look at serial killer Ed Gein. Quote, Eric and the Goon are old friends of Dark Horse, unquote. Dark Horse president Mike Richardson said, quote, bringing the Goon here along with his Albatross imprint feels like a homecoming for all of us. Eric is one of comics' premier creators. We can't wait to show you what he's been cooking up. What is the Goon? Well, I do know that Bill Irwin back in the early 90s portrayed a character in the WWE called the Goon, but I don't think this is the same guy. The Goon debuted in 1999 at Avatar Press, but Powell quickly moved to self-publishing and eventually released the book under Dark Horse in 2003, detailing the adventures of its brutish main character, an enforcer in Lonely Street, a vision of America right out of the Great Depression. The Goon became renowned for combining pulpy tales with slapstick comedy. Its titular character often battled the supernatural threats of his main enemy, the zombie priest, and had worked alongside Frankie, his smooth-talking sidekick. This sounds a little Popeye-esque to me. Aside from the supernatural, well, I guess you could argue that the way Popeye's body reacted to his spinach was kind of a supernatural effect too. But it kind of has a Popeye-esque feel to it. If you go back and watch some of the old black and white Fleischer cartoons, you'll know what I mean. An animated movie based on the Goon has been stuck in development since 2008. 2012, a Kickstarter for the film was successfully funded. The movie was intended to be released under 20th Century Fox. Following Disney's merger with Fox, however, the film was dropped. It was resurrected by Netflix earlier this year. With a release date still undetermined, The Goon has had better luck in the world of tabletop role-playing games as it was converted into a setting for Pinnacle Entertainment's Savage Worlds system in 2018. Wow, that's pretty cool. Alrighty then. So, got one more article to go through, and then we will do the wrestling roundup. Let's see. All right, so here's the last article we're going to focus on today. All right, so here we go. DC names new Harley Quinn creative team of Teenie Howard and Sweeney Boo. DC announces that writer Teenie Howard and artist Sweeney Boo will be taking over as the new creative team behind Harley Quinn's solo series in 2023. Article by Brent Shore, published 9 hours ago. There's Harley right there. DC's Harley Quinn is getting a new creative team as writer Teenie Howard and artist Sweeney Boo are boarding the series in 2023. DC announced Howard of Catwoman, Punchline the Gotham game, and Boo, the Joker, Batman Urban Legends, will take over the ongoing Harley Quinn solo series with Harley Quinn number 28, which goes on sale in March of 2023. Publishers said Howard and Boo's run will continue off of the current Harley Quinn series and give fans the quote continuing adventures of the one and only Harley Quinn with more gags, cameos, and Ivy than ever, unquote. DC's Harley Quinn began in 2021 from writer Stephanie Phillips and artist Riley Rosmo. Rosmo departed from the series after Harley Quinn number 17, with artist Georges Duarte taking over in the following issue. Recent storylines have seen Harley Quinn return back to Earth after a trip to the moon with the newly created Task Force XX team. Task Force XX didn't return alone, however, and they brought an alien along with them that bonded to Solomon Grundy and briefly gave him the ability to talk. While the alien intended to invade the entire Earth, Task Force XX was able to stop it only after Luke Fox, Batman, Jason Fox's brother and leader of the team, briefly donned a new Black Panther-like superhero costume. The story concludes in the Harley Quinn 2022 annual number 1, which ends with Harley hanging out in Las Vegas with her new quote-unquote pet Martian creature. Celebrating the history of Harley Quinn. Created by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm, Harley Quinn first appeared in 1992's quote-unquote Joker Favor episode of Batman the Animated Series, before making her way into the comics with 1993's The Batman Adventures number 12. While initially portrayed as the Joker's criminal girlfriend, more recent depictions have seen Harley leave the Clown Prince of Crime and set off on her own path as an anti-hero. She's since started a romantic relationship with Poison Ivy, Pamela Isley. DC also recently published Harley Quinn 30th Anniversary Special, an anthology-style issue honoring the history of the character. Creators attached to that special including Amanda Connor, Jimmy Palmiotti, Stephanie Phillips, Stepan Sajik, Stan Humphries, Tommy Garcia, Rob Williams, Mindy Lee, Terry Dodson, Cecil Castellucci, Raphael Scavone, Denny, Chad Hardin, Gilliam March, Billy Rosmo, Sajik, Erica Henderson, Jason Badauer, Miko Suryan, John Timms, Dodson, Rachel Dodson, Dan Hipp, and Raphael Albuquerque. Harley Quinn, number 28, releases March 28th, 2023 from DC. Alrighty then, so that was the last of this one. Alrighty then. So, anyways, so we are going to do a little bit of a wrestling roundup here, even though I realize there's not much. Of course, it's Thursday, so probably wasn't really. I didn't see much in the news, but there's more AEW news, and of course, stuff going on from Dynamite last night. Of course, the most notable thing of all are some of the championship changes that happened last night, including the crowning of a new AEW World Champion in John Moxley. Um, John Moxley defeated Bryan Danielson in the main event last night of the show. And the two of them, after asking and giving no quarter to each other, they, with William Regal coming down the ringside, Bryan Danielson, of course, helped put the title on around Moxley's waist. Right there. Around Moxley's waist. Then they, they basically shook hands and hugged each other in the middle of the ring. A sign of mutual respect for the two men, who are considered two of the three main pillars of AEW. In other matches, Chris Jericho defeated Claudio Castagnoli to become the Ring of Honor champion, albeit he had to do it with not so honorable ways, which probably will have a lot of the traditional ROH fans in a bit of an uproar, taking advantage of Aubrey Edwards being out of position. Jericho utilized a low blow before hitting the Judas effect to become the new ROH champion and garnering his 8th world championship. He also set a milestone in that he's the only man to have won the WWE, WCW, World Heavyweight, AEW, and Ring of Honor world titles. World Heavyweight. Now, granted, as some of the commentators mentioned, the WCW title, when he held it, was after the buyout. So, he also had the Acclaimed become the new AEW Tag Team Champions. They did defeat Swerve and Our Glory. And on the other end, though, you had Toni Storm retain the title, retain the interim women's title, pinning Dr. Britt Baker, and then and Pac retaining All-Atlantic title over Orange Cassidy. Now, in the aftermath of the women's matchup, as the female heels, Dr. Britt Baker, Rebel, Serena Deeb, and eventually Jamie Hayter would come in and join in on the fray. They were beating down the face females of Toni Storm and Athena. There was a bit of a surprise appearance coming in. Saraya made her AEW debut. Saraya, who was formerly known as Paige in the WWE, apparently signed, and this was apparently kept quiet. This was apparently kept quiet up until this point. So that got a big. Now, as to the exact nature of what she'll be doing in All Elite, we don't know yet, because I do know of the fact that she was forced to retire years ago because of a back injury. She'd been working her way back to get back in the ring, Now, whether or not they'll use her as a in-ring talent, maybe a manager, we don't know. Only time will tell with that. But also in other news, it may seem that there are some questions that CM Punk may be out of AEW now. So there's a possibility that from some news sources are saying that right now they're trying to work out some deal to be able to release him. The only thing that's slowing the product down is that they're afraid he's going to sue him. So I guess we'll have to wait and see on that one now. So anyways, some last piece of... So tomorrow night is going to be a big night for both AEW and Impact. AEW will have Rampage on it. Got 3 big tag team matches for Rampage, including the remaining members of the House of Black in the company of Buddy Matthews and Brody King, taking on Sting and Darby Allin in a no disqualification tag team match. You also have in another tag team match to start off the show, you have Hook, the FTW champion Hook, teaming with Action Brockton, take on 2 members of the Jericho Appreciation Society in Angelo Parker and Matt Menard. And the other big tag team match of the night, you have the TNT champion Wardlow teaming with the ROH World Television Champion Samoa Joe, as Excalibur kind of coined the phrase, the team known as Ward Joe, taking on Mark Sterling's stable of the Premier Athlete Tony Nese and Josh Woods. Also, Jade Cargill will be defending the TBS title tomorrow night against Diamante. So that's and Eddie Kingston will be taking on Sammy Guevara to get a little bit of revenge on him for what he did, for what Tay did to Ruby during their last match against each other. All right, and of course, as I said, it was a big night for both AEW, or tomorrow night, big night for AEW and Impact. Impact will be doing their Victory Road pay-per-view tomorrow night. We know that thus far what we know from the event going on, we know that Sami Callihan, there'll be a triple threat match in what they call a... Here, let me just pull this up here and just read it off to you guys. There's going to be a triple threat barbed wire massacre match between Sami Callihan, Steve Maclin, and Moose. Also, the members of Honor No More, the number 1 contender Impact World Title, Eddie Williams, will be teaming with Impact Tag Champions Mike Bennett and Matt Taven to take on Impact World Champion Josh Alexander, Rich Swann, and Heath. Mickie James and her continuation of the last rodeo tours, where she'll be taking on Giselle. It's simple: win or go home. That's the pressure that Mickey's put on herself, to basically keep winning until she's gone through every single knockout to earn a shot at the knockout title, whoever that may be at the time she gets there. But if she loses anywhere along the line, that's it. So, yeah, the X Division title on the line as Mike Bailey defends against Delirious. And also his next challenger after that, it will be somehow determined, as there'll be a number one contender triple threat revolver match for the X Division title involving Frankie Kazarian, Kenny King, Laredo Kid, Black Taurus, Mia Yim, Trey Miguel, Yuya Uemura, and Alex Zane. Killer Kelly will be taking on Tasha Steelz in a singles match, and then in a non-title match, Impact World Champion Jordan Grace will be taking on Maximum Taylor. So that's all we got for on the wrestling side of it, wrestling roundup. So let's see now. So now we're coming up on 2.5 hours here. So we'll go ahead and start wrapping things up. As today being Thursday, September 22nd, why don't we go ahead and take a look back at this day in Neach history. All right, so first off, we're going to go back to 1992. As first up on this date in 1992. This date in 1992. The 370th issue of Fantastic Four went on sale on this date back in 1992, 30 years ago today, for $1.25. 32 pages. Story was Forever Evil, written by Thomas B. DeFalco, penciled by Paul C. Ryan, Daniel Pulinati did inking, Jack Morelli did the lettering, and Gina Going-Rainey did the coloring. So on this date, back in 1992, 30 years ago today, Fantastic Four, Volume 1, number 370, went on sale on this date in 1992. Now moving on to the next piece. And what I can tell you is this, is that 1992 was just so nice that we're going to hit it twice. As also on this date in 1992, the animated short film created by Mike Judge, Frog Baseball, would premiere on MTV during its Liquid television series. Now, of course, this was a short film that led to the creation of Beavis and Butthead. So on this date, back in 1992, Beavis and Butthead made their animated debut in the short film Frog Baseball on MTV's Liquid television. So we should now get ready to move on to the next piece of Neach history as we head over to 1990. On this date in 1997, on this date in 1997, from the East Center in Salt Lake City, WCW held its Monday Nitro event. Main event saw Kurt Hennig retain the WCW United States Championship over Jeff Jarrett. It saw Booker T defeat Conan and Scott Norton via DQ to one handicap match. Earlier, Bill Goldberg, early on in his streak, of course, defeated Hugh Morris. The Disco Inferno would defeat Alex Wright for the WCW World Television Championship. So that's about as much of it that we hear. So on this date, back in 1997, WCW would hold its Monday Nitro event in the East Center in Salt Lake City. right, so that. And finally, the last piece of niche history for the night. As on this date in 2012, 10 years ago today, Sunrise Studios' Excel World would finish its run on Tokyo TV on this date in 2012. 10 years ago today, the Sunrise Studios produced anime Excel World would complete its run on on Japanese television. So there we go, guys. I thank everybody for being here tonight. A reminder, tomorrow night, of course, I'll have Timothy Olsen in with me as we continue our look through May of 1939. Our look through May of 1939. Tomorrow we'll be focusing in on Wonder World Comics Volume 1, Number 3 from Fox Feature Publications, which of course is at that time still known as Brune's Publications. We'll be looking at, of course, one of the big three for Fox back in the late 30s, early 40s. The Flame, the first of the big three to debut. Looking at him and a few other characters in the book there. So hope to see everybody back here tomorrow. Bye.